Snakes and ladders, a game we've all played as children, so relevant in our lives even today. We all want to reach the top, the finish line, and win the golden cup, don't we? We don't want the snake to gobble us up, and we want these magical ladders to appear in our lives from time to time so that we can skip some steps and get closer to our golden cup faster than our competitors. Let me tell you a secret. These snakes and ladders are very real. They just come in the form of different names and disguises, and it is up to us to recognize them for what they are. Each one of us has different challenges and different journeys as we move along the path of life. Now let me not get into the philosophy of life, else the discussion is never ending. Let's talk about permanent makeup and the snakes and ladders of this field, and what will help us reach the golden cup of success in the least amount of time possible. If you're watching this video, you probably know me already. For those of you I'm meeting for the first time, although virtually, I'm Dr. Gunjan Shah, a dermatologist and cosmetologist from India, who found my calling in the field of permanent makeup. Practicing permanent makeup for me is like coming home. It's so joyful and comfortable at the same time. My own personal heaven. And luckily, this heaven of mine manages to give beautiful brows, lips, liner, and lashes to my clients. It is such a happy place to be in. This video is going to help you understand the whole journey of permanent makeup and help you be prepared in advance. For any time that you are still not prepared, I'll be here to guide you. You can reach out to me anytime. I'd love it if you come and meet me sometime in person. I'm based in Ahmedabad, Gujarat in India. Or you may reach out to me in the virtual world via Facebook, Instagram, the discussions forum on the courses on online.ibrow.in, or you can email me on info@ibrow.in. If there's anything urgent you need my response on, you may contact our training coordinator via WhatsApp on Indian number 814-0022-022. There's no time like the present to start the journey into the world of PMU. But it's a great idea to be prepared before you start the journey. Why do you want to learn PMU? Is it about money? Is it your interest in this field? Is it about expansion of your current business? Or is it peer pressure from, your competing salons, etc.? Well, there's no judgment here from my end. Nothing is right or wrong, good or bad. Just that if you ask yourself these questions, the clarity about your objective for getting into this field will help you chalk out an appropriate path. Think about the timeline, about how many days, weeks, months are you willing to spend in learning the PMU procedures? How long do you think it will take you to set up a PMU practice? How long a gap can you afford to have between the time you start and you start getting a return on the amount you've invested in the training and setup? The next thing you need to think about is the budget. You need to set out separate budgets for the training, setup, marketing, and initial working capital that you will require once you start your business. Then you need to work out the place. If you are starting from scratch, you'll need to look for real estate to rent or buy. Or you can also start small by converting a part of your home or outhouse into a studio. A workaround to this would be renting a chair at an aesthetic clinic or salon so that you would have the added advantage of having an opportunity to market yourself to their existing clients as well as have lesser headache of upkeep of the place. Even if you have an existing clinic or salon where you are catering to a similar target audience, it will be best from a business perspective if you set aside a studio space specifically for your PMU clients. Next is about how much time are you planning to devote to your PMU career once you start. Are you going to be full-time doing PMU or part-time? Or you want to simply offer this as a part of your other services setup? Have you worked in a related field in the past few years? Say makeup, cosmetology, beauty, or fashion? If you're a fresher, that's great too. A blank canvas is often the best place to start. If you have any experience in the art of makeup, you'd probably know the proportion and visually what colors look good, but would still need to learn the techniques of PMU. If you've been working as a cosmetologist or beautician or esthetician, you'd know the basics of skin and how it works, but would still need to learn proportion, colors, and techniques of PMU. Next, you need to figure out where you're going to get your clientele from when you begin your PMU business. It's nice if you have an existing client of your salon or cosmetology business, or if you're generally a people's person and have a huge potential base of clients because of your years of networking. If not, that's okay too. This video will teach you how to ensure that you start having clients from the time you get certified and licensed by building up new clients through marketing. Once you've asked yourself and answered the above questions, you need to start putting things in action. Now it's time to take a pen and paper. Set goals for yourself of things you need to do before you incorporate your business. Your goals could be, for example, finding a learning center, find a place to work from. You might need to secure a loan for the business that you're planning to start. You'd also want to join a Facebook group of amateur PMU artists to connect with around your area. You have to keep in mind that these are my goals, just for an example. Your goals have to be your goals, not mine. Next, and one of the most important things you need to figure out is the academy you're going to attend to learn PMU. What do you have to look for? Select your academy very carefully. Don't hesitate to ask questions before you finalize. Do consider the pricing as a factor, but not as the only factor. The cheapest is not necessarily the worst, and the most expensive not necessarily the best. So then, what should you look for while searching for an academy? You need to ask these questions to the academy that you're communicating with. Does the academy have properly structured curriculum with specific timelines for completion and certification of courses? Is this curriculum and its pricing displayed on their website and other linked places transparently? Does the academy offer the option for converting an online course into a live course? Do you have access to a list of past students that have learned from that academy on their website and social media, so that you can cross-check if you know anybody and take a feedback from them directly? You also need to figure out if the trainer is well known in the field for their training skills. Do you have access to video testimonials of the trainer's past students? And last but not the least, should you choose an online class or a live class? So let's consider the benefits of each one of them. We'll first check out the advantages of an online class. The flexibility of time is the most important thing. If you're already working part-time or full-time, then this is a good option for you, as you can see the training material at your own convenience and spread it out over a period of few days or weeks. You can learn at your own pace. Each person has a different speed of grasping, and online learning gives you the option of skipping sections or just glancing through the topics that you're familiar with. At the same time, going slower than normal on the topics that you feel you need more time to learn. You can opt for repeat viewing whenever you need to. You can go over each tiny stroke as many times as you want during online learning. You can rewind and watch a live demo in slow motion. All these options might not be available with in-person or live classes. You can go for more paper practice, especially if you are new to this field. You get the opportunity to completely perfect one exercise before you move on to the next chapter, hence giving you more confidence before you actually start doing practice on human beings. Last but not the least, most important for you as a beginner might be the cost factor. Online has the advantage of lower cost. If you have budget constraints or live in a remote area where you might not have easy access to live classes, you should definitely opt for online learning to begin with. The same trainer would usually charge much higher for a live course than they would charge for an online course. Then there are also advantages to a live class. You can have the advantage of hand-holding by an instructor. This is good if you have zero prior experience in dealing with another human being physically. For example, I often have people who have been in professions like, say, construction or banking or online sales and now want to develop a career in permanent makeup. I usually ask them to take a couple of online courses to see if this is a field they think they want to invest time, money, and effort in, and then to convert the online training to a live class. Because in the live class, they'll get an experience to directly deal with human beings, which they might not have had in their earlier career. You get interaction with other students and learning from their mistakes and difficulties. This also helps you understand how fast or slow your learning capability is comparatively, thus helping you mentally prepare yourself for more practice if you're a slow learner. Next, you need to look into the financial aspects. Talk to your CA or CPA regarding your liabilities and taxation. What is your tax liability as a permanent makeup artist in your country, your region, or your state? What benefits can you get if you're starting as a small business? Most countries have government benefits on loans taken from bank and NBFCs. Some countries have this especially for women. Also, figure out how much do you need to set aside for insurance, fixed monthly expenses, which are mandatory as per law, and also have a separate fund for emergency expenses. Next, you need to consider the legal aspects of practicing. First is certification. Some countries might not have a mandatory training certificate, but still, you might want to get it because certificates on display in your reception or waiting area does have a positive impact on clients. Next is licensing. Licensing rules differ in different countries, regions, states, and even counties. So make sure you're aware about what license you'll need to practice as per law. The other thing you need to figure out is about the insurance. Have you ever considered that you can be sued for giving somebody a bad eyebrow? Or some of the rare complications that can occur after PMU? It's not very likely to happen, but it can. So it's best to be prepared so that you can sleep well at night if you've had a difficult client on a particular day. Some places have insurance as a mandatory prerequisite in order to get a license for practicing this art, which is good in a way. And then there are places like my own country, India, where insurance for PMU artists is unheard of. Have revenue goals for yourself as well as accomplishment goals. Make them realistic about how much revenue you can generate monthly and annually. Be ambitious by all means, but not overconfident. Understanding the factors that influence revenue will help. Consider whether you have your own clientele or have to build from scratch. How good is the awareness for PMU in your region? What's the kind of pricing for PMU services in your region? Plan revenue goals for 1 year at a time and then break them down into monthly and weekly goals to get more clarity on whether you are going on the right track or not. So you might have an annual goal of X dollars. However, your 6 monthly goal might not necessarily be X by $2. The reason for this is that you would need to build up slowly on it. So initially you might need to have lesser target and then more as you progress further in the business. Have 360-degree goals to achieve overall growth of your business, which will automatically lead to higher revenues. Don't forget to write down your goals and not just think about it in your mind. Make these goals measurable. For example, by 18th of May this year, my monthly revenue should be $XXXXX. Or in the first 3 months of starting my business, I should have done at least 30 PMU procedures. Or say, for example, 30 days from my first live model, I will have at least 10 positive Google reviews. So these kind of goals will help you progress further in your business. You'll also need to indulge in a little bit of competition study. Good and bad influence both. More competition means more awareness in your area and more business. But if you have to work hard, think out of the box, provide better results, and make your clients feel special, it's going to require more effort and time. If there is less competition around you, it means you have to spend time and effort and money in creating awareness. So you need to find out whether clients are satisfied with your competition or not. Once you're done with this, 3, 2, 1, start your training sessions. Once you've decided to make a career in this field, go ahead and start your training sessions. Work stepwise. If you are doing an online training, make sure you have the option of taking it one step at a time. Opting for an all-in-one training to save costs on training might seem attractive at first, but the deal might not be as sweet as it sounds. It is actually advisable to learn only as much which you are going to practice immediately. While purchasing a training, whether live or online, make sure you have checked the validity of the training, which will define how often and for how long you can view the training videos and also the inclusions about the training materials and products. What validity to choose? If you are a fresher and currently not engaged in any other work or study, you might want to save money by opting for trainings with shorter validity and finishing off the course by dedicating more hours a day. On the contrary, if you are a full-time student or already have a job or career which takes up a lot of your time, you might want to opt for a training that gives you the flexibility of learning at a slower pace, although at a higher price. Also need to consider what inclusions come as a part of the training. Some academies provide a training which includes specific material or a kit and hence charge an inflated amount, quoting part of the fees as cost of the material that they would be sending you. This can be good or bad for you, depending. Some of the products might overlap when you are taking multiple trainings in the same field on different subjects, so you might be spending additional for material that you might not use. I also come across a lot of people who attend my training who have randomly bought some of this stuff over the years from beauty exhibitions, etc., out of an interest in the field mostly, so they don't require a full kit always. For my online training, I often have people registering from different countries across the world. So if I include a kit in my online learning, I'd have to charge them an additional fee for international shipping, which often turns out to be very expensive for them. On the other hand, if you are completely new to the field, you wouldn't know where to buy the products from and which quality to invest in as a beginner in the field. To overcome these issues, at Eyebrow Academy, we offer links to purchase the products within the training for those living in the countries we ship to, and for those residing in other countries, we provide guidance on the most cost-effective materials available for beginners. While attending the training, be honest to yourself. Practice the things you are told to practice and do not get overconfident. Trust your trainer and follow instructions even if it seems mundane at that time and you are eager to go on to the next step. You will need to start building your brand from the very beginning. You might want yourself to be the brand. For example, I could have called it Gunjan's Pro Studio. Or you might want to build a brand that has its own identity. For example, I decided to go ahead with Eyebrow. Irrespective of whether your brand is your name or another name, get a logo designed for your brand. Finalize what colors you want. Get the RGB or CMYK values of these colors and use these colors in all your communication. Logo, website, visiting cards, storefront signage, brochures, interiors, including wallpapers, drapes, tapestry, etc. Everything should reflect the same set of colors. Get yourself a website. For that, you first need to purchase a domain. And then, even if it is a simple one-pager, get your website done by a professional with all the links working and the look suitable to your profession. Want a low-cost logo with website of excellent quality specifically meant for PMU? Ask us for a quote on our email address eyebrow.permanentmakeup@gmail.com. You will also need to build a social media presence. In social media, you have to create pages of your brands on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, and Twitter. Create a profile on Google and build a My Business page over there. Start posting content on all these platforms at least 3 times a week. Tell viewers about your journey of becoming a permanent makeup artist, your struggles, your choice of training, Well, this is also why it is important to have a training from a place you can brag about. You can tell them about your future plans, your identity vis-a-vis your PMU brand, etc. Give small snippets of information to your audience, however small, about your upcoming skill and business. You also need to start creating an awareness within your social circle about your new skill and business of PMU. For this, you can use WhatsApp broadcast lists and direct WhatsApp messages to your contacts. Post photos on your progress as your skill develops during your training on this career. Make short videos and add text descriptions. This is because videos are popular on social media. Nobody really reads text without visuals, but text is important to make your video or images searchable, as one can't find an old post unless they use keywords which are included in the text on your video post. Tell your close friends that you'll soon require models for live practice. Initially, choose models who have never had permanent makeup done on their brows earlier, and preferably women who have a reasonably good shape of the eyebrows but just want more volume or density. You need to start working immediately after your training. Whatever part you're done with, be it mapping or mapping with powder brows or mapping with microblading, start practicing on actual human beings. Don't try to jump into paying clients' work for the first 5 to 7 cases. Work on first just increasing the density, then adding definition, and then any shape correction in that order. The longer the gap between your training and your first live model case, the more jittery you will feel and the slower your growth curve will be. When I'm doing a live training on, say, a Saturday and a Sunday, I tell my students to schedule their live models for Monday morning itself and report back to me with photos by end of the day on Monday. The points discussed during the training are still fresh in their minds, and so is the enthusiasm. As soon as you start working on live models, you also need to start with the paperwork. Once you have the name and the logo of your business and have finalized a place where you're going to work from and have obtained the necessary certification of training, you must start this very necessary step of paperwork. Business registration or business incorporation is different in different countries. As we discussed earlier, by now you must have already figured out the laws applicable in your region. If not, do it ASAP. Business registration, followed by inspection of your premises and with valid certification, will get you the required license to practice. Your country might also have a mandatory blood-borne pathogen training as a requirement. So apart from PMU, you might need to get that certification. Insurance is mandatory in some countries, optional in others, and unheard of in some, as discussed earlier. You'll need to get professional products to work with, mainly equipment and pigments, post-care cream, sanitary wipes, etc. You can actually make do with practice quality pigments during your training on skin substitutes. However, once you have decided to work on live models, you will need professional grade pigments, blades, cartridges, and a PMU machine if you haven't bought it already. You don't want to end up with snagging needles and graying colors on your first case. A very important success point is to make yourself a schedule. Fix your working hours. During that time, you're either working on a live person or on a paper or latex or fruit, but you're in your workspace, even if you do not have an appointment. This sort of discipline will help you more than you will ever know. I, as a doctor, learned this at the very beginning of my career. You have to be dependable. We have to be at our workplace during a specific time window. And this helped me a lot in my career as a PMU artist, just being there. Stick to your schedule, even if it seems depressing at first that you do not have clients. Spend that time in learning how to market yourself on social media so that you can save on huge costs that you might otherwise pay to a marketing agency. Research materials, techniques, pigments, and learn more about your art, even if you are a pro at what you already know. Last but not the least, good communication with your clients is the key to a successful business. Your clients are your walking advertisements. They might wear designer clothes for a day, but your artwork they are going to be wearing on their face for days, weeks, and months to come. Immediately after you've done their PMU, they are going to go through a lot of different emotions. Their face looks different. Better for sure, but different. It takes time to get used to something like that. You look in the mirror and you feel like you're looking at somebody else. Also, there is the healing period during which the brows will scab and then it will seem like the pigment is gone. And then after some days, the pigment will come back again. So you need to communicate this to them before you do their PMU and also be available for their queries while they are going through the healing process so that they don't panic. The cup is right here, achievable for all of us. It's just a matter of time and following it stepwise rather than trying to jump up and get it. Feel free to get in touch with me anytime you have any queries about PMU, irrespective of whether you have learnt it from me or not. If you are looking for training courses, you can visit online.ibrow.in. Thank you for watching this video.